What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Shop Talk Tuesday. So if you're new to this video series, what this is all about, like I say, in every single one of these is a commentary based type thing where I pretty much talk most of the time. We don't really do anything work related in these. I talk about topics that are really good to know when it comes to knife making and all kinds of other things. Right now we are focusing on a few things for knife making. Now guys, I've hit on a couple of different things through the last few Shop Talk Tuesdays, talking about you know, buying your first custom knife, selling your first custom knife, you know, doing that whole process. I am going to kind of ease into another step that you can do if you're a beginner knife maker and you're trying to just push your craft to a further level, if you want to call it that. I'll tell you, one of the biggest things to try and figure out is what is your design? What is the thing that is gonna make you, I guess, stand out as a knife maker? It's kind of hard nowadays because there are so many designers out there and so many people making knives that trying to figure out what you're gonna do that is gonna be your thing is not easy. It really isn't. And I'll tell you, one of the things you're gonna have to do a lot, that is going to be design knives. Now, when you start at first, you're going to be taking templates or pictures that you see on Google or knife forums and all those things, and you might copy a couple of knives that people do, or do your best to copy that knife whenever it's your first few knives. You might be, you know, trying to figure out what's going to be your aesthetic, what's going to be your thing. Now, whenever I first started, I had a thing that I did on most of my knives. And I'm going to show you a few of my more beginner knives. Knives like this. So one of my things was, well, finger choil. I did that on almost all of my beginning knives. It was just kind of my thing. I really liked the finger choil. I like the way that feels in the hand. I like that your hand's not going to slide up on it. And then I changed it up a little bit, and I did a few karambit style knives that did not have the finger choil. Now, it has a little bit of a groove here, but it doesn't have the full finger choil that comes down and then hooks up. So whenever I did my karambit style knife, I left that part out. And then, of course, whenever I did my rivelet right there, I left that out, but I still have this little finger groove right here. That is just a personal preference for me. I do that to most of my knives. It's just a thing that I do. Now, the knife that I'm most known for, of course, is the rivelet because of the Heirloom Knife. So, because of this knife, that's what, well, made everybody more or less pay attention to my channel. And I'll tell you, this was not the first knife that I designed. By far, not the first. I designed tons of other knives. I did a lot of drawings. I did a lot of things before I came up with this design right here. But that's what it takes. You know, it takes the time to draw out designs, make templates. And one of the things that I want to talk about today is getting to that point and then making the templates. As you know, I always have templates back here. These are not all of the knives that I've designed. Nowhere near it. I've got about another all of these. There's about 30 of those. Plus about another 30 in my drawing book here, the sketchbook that I have. And these are the ones that I've made and I've wanted to put in my hand and see how they feel. Now, one of the big things that you need to think about whenever you're going to go and design a knife is how that knife is going to feel in your hand. And of course, what knife is going to catch on might not be the knife that you think is going to be your big design thing that you did that now everybody loves. You know, I thought it might have been like my Fang or something like that. It wasn't. It was this little guy right here. But I'll tell you, The big thing to understand is ergonomics and how something feels in your hand. And if I could give you any advice as a person who's a beginning knife maker, or even a person who's been making knives for a little while, it is make templates, put them in your hand so you can make sure that they fit right. A lot of people design knives and don't think that through, and then when they make it, they love it, but it's not for everybody. So there's a lot of things that you can't do that are just going to fit everyone's hands. Now, whenever I do things like finger choils, like things like this right here, this really narrows down the amount of people who can comfortably hold this. Because if someone has bigger fingers than me, or a wider hand, or a narrower hand, this area right here isn't going to fit in their hand right. So I always suggest make templates. Not just templates with paper, but out of wood. So this is 1/4 inch thick wood. I use that for all of my templates, all of them. And it's all about trying to figure out the knives that you're going to want to make. Put them on a template. Make it a thing that you can hold in your hand before you decide to turn that drawing into a knife. And one of the cool things about that is you can take that template and you can put it in a bunch of people's hands at your work. You can just hand it to them, hey, fill this, hey, fill this, hey, fill this, and have them with all of their different size hands hold it. And whenever you get it to where every single one of them can hold it and it's still comfortable, that's something that you're probably going to be pretty successful with, and a lot of people will probably want. Now, shockingly enough, I made all kinds of different knives. There's people that liked them. There's people that were not, that into them, until I made that. I put this in about 10 people's hands. Every single one of them loved the way it felt. All of them. So there's a good reason why so many of y'all like this shape and design. For one, it's just a nice drop point knife. Just a good kind of EDC. Maybe you can consider it a camp knife. Of course, my ones that are this size, you can definitely consider camp knives. But other than the fact that, yes, the handle is absolutely beautiful, I get that. A lot of people love that. A lot of people like the file. A lot of people like how thick they are and how crazy the plunge lines look because of how thick the file is. But people like this design, they like this shape, and it was my first one that I made that everybody who held it liked. So that's what made me decide, okay, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to make a few of these. And then, of course, y'all saw me make a few of the rivelettes with the handle scales that I did on them. I made a little set of 3 of the rivelettes, and those did really well. So then I decided, whenever my friend asked me to make his son a knife out of his dad's 30-year-old file, I thought this is going to be the best design for that, because no matter what, with me not seeing this person's hands, this will fit him. And it will be comfortable for him because of how many people I tried it out on with them holding it first. So that is why I made that heirloom knife this shape. Typically what I'll do is, if I'm going to make a custom knife for somebody, so let's say like this or like this, I'm going to make them and I'm going to put it in their hand so that they can actually try it out. So this one, this is not the original like karambit style knife that I made. This isn't it. None of those things over there are. The original one that I did was thinner here and a little bit shorter. But the guy's hand that I had to make this for was about 1 inch wider than my hand. So I made the template, I made a couple of these, until I found the one that was going to fit his hand perfectly. The diameter of the hole, the spacing, everything, so that he could hold it and it was comfortable. Now, again, if you don't have that choice, if you're going to try and make 5 knives for somebody, like, well, 5 knives not for a person, but for just people to buy, think about something that's going to fit multiple people's hands, put it on template, hand it around, let people hold it, and as soon as you hit that point that everybody's like, yeah, that's pretty awesome, make that knife. Go ahead and make it, and I bet you a lot of people are going to want it, and they're going to easily be able to sell that thing. Think of it as focus grouping it, and being able to use your template to focus group that. So draw it on paper, make it on some template material, then hand it around and see what it is like in people's hands. And if it turns out to be something that everybody likes, make it, and I bet you those people that liked it will be some of your first customers to buy that knife. Now, I know that this has kind of been, talking about sketching, talking about doing template material and all that, but this is really about being able to decide what you're going to make. Because a lot of people, they want to get other people's templates, or they want to download templates on Google or wherever and use those people's designs. That's cool, but again, you're not letting anybody know what you're doing or why you're doing it. You're just downloading something and hoping that it's successful. Not everybody's successful things are going to be your successful thing. You're not going to make it exactly how that person made it. Hell, that person probably can't make it exactly how they made it. So just be unique and focus group it. Let people hold it, let people try it out, and you'll probably be successful with that. It's just a little bit of advice that I can give you. If you want to take templates offline, take a few of them, put them together, make a cool knife out of different aspects from those. I still use my templates every single day whenever I'm drawing a new knife, because I might want a little bit of the handle from one, another part of the handle from another, some of the drop and curve from one, a little bit of the recurve from another. I might take all of those and create one knife off of 4 or 5 different templates. That's another awesome thing about having these made out of wood so that you can reuse them later. Plus, let's say you have a really complicated one that you're not comfortable with doing the grinds on, like I did with this one. I did all of my test grinds on the template so I could see what grind I needed to do first in order to be able to make this come to fruition, make it reality. So that's what I did. I took the time and I used this template to figure out how I was going to do my bevels, in what order, all of those things, and if it would even look good as the end result. And of course, y'all have seen the video for that. Turned out awesome, but this template is why I was able to do that. So it's not just making templates so that you can recreate those knives. A lot of people think that that's the case. A lot of people think that you're going to make a template so that you can recreate it over and over and over again. But I'm going to tell you right now, it is awesome to be able to make it, put it in your hand, make sure the handle fits exactly how you want it, make sure that the thumb jimping is exactly where you want it, make sure your bevels are exactly how you want it. There's so many things that you can do with the template that is not just being able to recreate that knife 15, 20 times. So there you go. Now, guys, what I'm going to do is we're going to end that part. We're going to go into what we have working in the background. Now, of course, y'all have seen the 3 rivulets, the heirloom knives that we're working on. You know that I'm doing a few other things with military knives. I'm doing a bunch of scrap knives right now. I am going to be working on, another little different version of the scrap knife that has actually a handle scale on it as opposed to the cord wrap. But we do have this one that's going to be coming out. It's one of my camp chef's knives that I'm doing. Plus I'm doing another camp chef knife. It's a little bit longer than that. and then we're doing a few other knives in the background. And the cool thing about the 2 Camp Chefs knives, those are going to have videos dedicated to them. Of course, those are going to be coming up after the Forge Kukri and the chopper that I'm going to be doing. And we are going to be doing the chopper next. That is going to be the next video series that we're going to do. And it was kind of a unanimous thing. Most of y'all decided that we were going to do the chopper. So we're going to do that. I am going to do a Sanmai knife here in the future. I'm going to do, I haven't decided whether I'm going to do 1095 for the center, 15 and 20, yeah, something like that, one of those. Or I'm going to do railroad spike on the outside at 5160 or 1095 or something like that in the center. But I'm going to use railroad spike as the outside to the Sanmai. So I'm not going to do something traditional like a lot of people do on YouTube. I'm going to do railroad spike on the outside and then 1095, 5160 or 15 and 20, something like that, towards the center of it. So we'll see how that goes. But that's going to be the first stacked steel type thing. I wouldn't call it Damascus, it's just Sanmai. It's going to be the first time that I do forge welding on the channel. So we're going to do that, and that's going to be you know, just trying it out, see how it goes. I've never done that before, but yeah, I figured I would use the stuff that I have. So we're going to do railroad tie or railroad spike, and then probably 5160 or some 1095 that I have. But yeah, so that's what we have coming up. Now, guys, when it comes to the viewer's knife section, I'm going to do this one just like I did last week's, where I'm going to do a cutaway and just show y'all pictures of the knives. And there's a few knives in this one, and you can see the progression through his knives. So this is from Brad, and man, you could just tell from the first one all the way through the cool progression between, you know, getting used to design and materials and stuff like that. I've done a lawnmower blade knife, and you know, one of these is that, so I think it's pretty awesome. But these are some pretty cool knives, and we're going to cut away right now. So these are his first 4 knives. This first one was made out of a bicycle rack frame, definitely pretty cool. And then on his second one, he used a lawnmower blade and did a leather stacked handle and made a K-bar inspired knife. On his third one, he used a lawnmower blade again. This is his zombie killer. Definitely looks cool. I like that he left the holes in the blade. And then for the last one, he's got a chopper. Definitely a cool looking design. This was forged by him out of a leaf spring. Definitely cool. Now guys, y'all tell him what y'all think about those knives. I think they're all awesome. And there is a big thing that I tell y'all every single time I do one of these. I don't care if it's your first knife, your 5th knife, your 50th knife, or your 500th knife. I would love to see what you've created. If you're a fellow YouTuber, make sure you tell me so that I can link your YouTube in the description below whenever I do the video that has your knives on it. Guys, again, make sure you send me pictures of your knives. I would love to see them and be able to show everybody your work. Guys, that's pretty much the end of this video. If y'all would, give this video a thumbs up, share my videos, go down in the bottom corner, hit that subscribe button so you get notified for the builds that we have coming up. Guys, thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all for spending your time with me. Y'all have an amazing day. I'll catch y'all next time.